Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. We got Eric, who might make the senior PGA tour in about 10 years. What are you thinking, Eric?
Probably in about 5 months, 4 months. We're getting close.
But he's that good at golf, too, is what he's really saying.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Hey, we got Mike from Eddie and Mike podcast. Shout out to Eddie. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I am splendid, ready to talk some Commanders, and yeah, it's going to be a good show. I feel like.
Yeah. 0% chance of a good show tonight, but we're going to do our best. And if you are not already, make sure you are subscribed, turn your notifications on, tell a friend to tell a friend about the podcast, listen on all audio platforms, put it on Alexa, your Amazon stuff, anywhere you can find podcasts, we are there. You want to get locked in before the season starts because you will find no better content when the season starts week to week than this podcast here, if I do say so myself. Shout out to all of our longtime listeners. Shout out to all of our new listeners. Shout out to all of our medium length listeners. We appreciate all of you guys. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to the Eddie and Mike podcast, which can be found just about everywhere as well. They do a great job covering Commanders, Wizards. I think you even get into a little Nats talk every now and then, right?
So, yeah, the world of sports as we see it.
They got it going on over there. All right, let's jump into Commanders. There's a lot of things going on. Number one, Santana Moss is going in the Ring of Fame. Mike, how happy does that make you?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like growing up, I think I'm the youngest on the panel. Growing up, it wasn't really much to cheer for, especially before Joe Gibbs came. So having Santana Moss, that trade, I remember that trade that the team made with the Jets to send Coles back to New York after they just signed him a couple of years prior and brought in Santana Moss in 2005. The first game I remember, he didn't really do too much, and it was like, man, when Santana Moss going to show up? In the second game, everything just did not go well for us. And then it seemed like those two bombs against Dallas in 2005, week 2, those two bombs that led us to a victory. It seemed like after that, not only was the Cowboy Killer born, but we got to witness one of the greatest, how can I say, I wouldn't say unexpected, but I wouldn't even say surprising. But no one thought that Santana Moss was going to have the career that he had, especially after the 2 years that he started in New York. So the fact that he was able to not only have the career that he had, but look cool doing it. Like Santana Moss was one of the coolest players. He had the swag before we even knew what swag was. I'm talking the towel drip, the visor. Well, maybe not the dark visor, but I think he rocked the clear visor at one point. Like the man was just awesome for us, and I'm glad to see him go in the Ring of Fame. It was not only a surprise for him, but a surprise for the fans. Like we didn't expect it, so we were all happy for him on Sunday, and we look forward to partying when that jersey, when this name goes in the ring in Week 1 versus the Giants.
Great time to do it too. Santana was a beast at Miami. He was on those incredible Miami teams. I was a huge Lavernius Coles fan. He and Patrick Ramsey. And then Santana came, and I was disappointed when we made that trade because you're right. With the Jets, there was something. Either he was hurt a lot or he just wasn't living up to the hype. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't living up to the hype. And then he came here, and it was like just transformational. That Monday night game, I will never forget where I was, what I was doing. I remember that entire night. And I actually missed those days of Monday Night Football when Monday nights were the premier game in the NFL. And the announcers were great, and the whole thing was really awesome. But
hold on real quick about that Monday night game. You say you remember where you were. I remember too. I watched it over at my sister's house with her boyfriend and my little nephew. He was like maybe a little over one, but I had just got my driver's license the summer before, and it was like the first win that I had under my driver's license. And I'm driving home at night, beeping the horn in my mother's van, finger out the window, driving down 295 back to Southwest. It was crazy, man. But I'm happy because I feel like times like that are coming again for us. But we'll talk about that later.
That's right, man.
Yeah, Santana Moss is one of those guys that, like, he was ahead of his time. Like if he was in today's NFL in his prime with the way they use spacing and the passing game, the way it's evolved, I think he potential Hall of Fame talent. In today's NFL, he was just a little bit ahead of his time, and that offense that they ran the first couple of seasons under Joe Gibbs was not evolved at all. It was a very outdated offense. So, I mean, just the fact that he produced the way he did in that offense was really impressive. But yeah, Santana Moss is just a staple of Commanders fans and Redskins fans over the past quarter century. Obviously, the early 2000s. And Mike just made me feel super old by saying he got his driver's license, because I was like, man, I gotta get up early, man. They need to end this game. Remember that? I was like, I gotta go to work in the morning. I was like 30.
I remember it vividly. And now let me ask you this question. So if Santana is in the Ring of Fame, Ring of Honor, does that imply that Clinton Portis should also be in that Ring of Fame relatively soon?
Yes. To me, it does.
I thought he was in there already.
Yeah. Clinton Portis, if he's not in there, he should be. Him and Santana were front and center on those teams that had success under Joe Gibbs for sure. I would, if Clinton Portis isn't already in there, I would definitely put him in.
All right, let me stop asking stupid questions and look this up, because when they started putting like when we got really bad during those, not really bad, but some of the latter parts of these regimes,
really bad,
not pay that much attention to that kind of stuff. Let me see. Ring of
No, he really might not be. I think the only person, like,
they're only going to do like one person a year. So
I don't think he is.
Yeah, I think Sean Taylor might be the only person from the Gibbs era. Oh, maybe London Fletcher, but I think it's just those two. I can't think of nobody else that might have got in.
That they don't put them in right away, though. It's good that it's now like 15, 20 years later, and now they're starting to put those guys in. I like that. Just gives you time to have some more perspective. I think that, if you put them in right after they retire, unless they're like a first ballot Hall of Famer, which we haven't had in years, I just don't see that. I don't see that as a good thing. Chris Samuels is another guy I think you should maybe start thinking about putting in there, but we'll see how that works down the road.
He was in too.
He might be. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
Portis is not. And remember, Portis had that legal trouble for a little while too, that I think probably clouded that up a bit. I would like them to put him in.
Is Sheriff going to get you in the Ring of Honor? Can you look that up?
or with Jenkins?
Southeast Jerome. Is Southeast Jerome in there?
Yeah. What a great personality he was. LeVar Arrington. No. All right, Eric, I'm gonna save this one for you. Art Monk, recognized officially by the Redskins / Commanders. The number is retired. 81, man. What did 81 mean to you, and how excited are you that is happening?
Yeah, well, everything Mike just said about Santana Moss, like as he was a young person, that was me with Art Monk. He was, I think I was a little younger than maybe Mike was. I mean, he was drafted, I think, in 80, 81. So it was essentially my childhood, that 10 years of the 80s. That's when I grew up, and that's when Art Monk was as good as it gets. And when he retired from the NFL, he was the all-time leader in receptions. The fact that it took him that long to get in the Hall of Fame was really upsetting to me.
Ridiculous.
I love the fact that he's going into the Hall of Fame. 81. Outside of Darrell Green, he's my favorite all-time Washington Redskins player. He was just a class act, and the ability that he had to just produce year in, year out, just a durable player for the most part, just a really productive, excellent wide receiver. And to see him get his flowers, first to get in the Hall of Fame, like, it was 10, 15 years ago now, but now to get his jersey retired and be one of the only, actual Redskins. And I think there's a couple more coming, because they seem like they're doing that once a year now. They did Darrell Green last year. They've done Sonny Jurgensen, Bobby Mitchell. There's more to come. But yeah, it's great. Art Monk in my top 3 of all time Redskins players, and he is not number 3. Let's put it that way. So yeah, couldn't be happier for Art Monk. He's a wonderful example of what everything that an NFL player should be is Art Monk, and seeing him get his flowers, I look forward to. I hope I can actually go to that game. That's another one I might consider going to next year. So very happy for Art Monk. Very good to see him go in.
Yeah. Art Monk was phenomenal, and he looked like he could play a lawyer on Law and Order. He could play a doctor on ER. Like he was just that really professional receiver. He was a professional wide receiver. Was not a diva at all. Came to work, brought his lunch pail, got his work done. Was elite at it, and he played in the era with Jerry Rice, right? And then he played in the era of Michael Irvin. You remember how good Michael Irvin was in Dallas, and Art Monk, in my opinion, and for my money, was every bit of that.
I'm going to give you a semi-modern day comp because I don't think a lot of people understand how good Art Monk was. So I'm going to give you a semi-modern day comp to what Art Monk was back in the 80s and early 90s.
Better not be McCole Hardman.
It is Nicole Hart. No, it is Larry Fitzgerald. Like everything that Larry Fitzgerald was, that was Art Monk in the 1980s. Art Monk was just physically, he was a supreme athlete. He was just a fantastic athlete. He was big, tall, strong, fast enough, not super fast, but he was fast enough. He was a flawless route runner. He had amazing hands. He was basically the 1980s version of Larry Fitzgerald. So some of you may be young enough to remember Larry Fitzgerald or old enough to remember Larry Fitzgerald. That's basically what Art Monk was in the 1980s.
So real quick, I knew that the Hall of Fame was like a farce, basically, when I heard Peter King explaining that one of the reasons he was not voting Art Monk into the Pro Football Hall of Fame was because he didn't have a signature play. A signature play? The man retired as the all-time leading receiver with 3 rings, I think. 3 different starting quarterbacks. And you talking about signature play? What?
Yeah, it's basically he never scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I know Peter King had mentioned that, and Paul Zimmerman before him had mentioned that. You know, he had the one against Buffalo, like he had like a half a foot out of bounds. That would have technically been his senior or his signature play, but he didn't quite
who cares?
Come down with the ball. But I mean, he was a premier wide receiver for 11 years, 12 years in the NFL. Retired as the all-time leader in receptions, caught a pass in 120 odd straight games. First player to catch 100 passes in a season in 1984, which again was just insane. With Joe Theismann throwing him the ball, he just great numbers all around. Relatively low touchdown numbers was another thing that they tried to hold against him, but I mean that guy was just an automatic first down every time. So everyone who doesn't think Art Monk deserves to be in the Hall of Fame can go pound sand for all I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned.
What a phenomenal era of football. I even just sitting here thinking about listening to you guys talk about it. Takes me back to my childhood and watching the Redskins. It was awesome. We got to get the training camp stuff, but real quick, Eric, Terry McLaurin finishes his career with Washington. Can he surpass Art Monk in your mind? Only in your fandom and love of players in the Redskins Commanders lore. Can Terry McLaurin pass Art Monk for you?
I don't know. That's going to be tough. You know, recency bias is a thing. But man, Art Monk is he's on that Mount Rushmore for me. It's going to be tough for Terry McLaurin to be that to me. As much as I like Terry McLaurin as a player, I don't know. Art Monk is very high. Terry McLaurin might pass like Gary Clark for me, who equally is an awesome player and should be I believe he is in the Ring of Fame and 100% should be. But can you imagine? I gave you the Larry Fitzgerald comp. Can you imagine being in the 1980s and having Larry Fitzgerald and Antonio Brown lining up on the same team? Because that's Gary Clark and Art Monk right there. I'm telling you. And then with Ricky Sanders in there, with Nicole Hardman in the slot with Ricky Sanders, it's amazing.
And the offense was being ran by Sean McVay. Yeah, that's how good it was.
And you had the Eagles' offensive line of today.
Yeah, right. It's insane. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I just love that era of football. All right. So Terry, the situation with Terry, not close, been reported all over the place. We're not going to dive too deep into that. Just know that there's no imminent deal with Terry McLaurin right now. It'll sort itself out. We all still feel confident something will get done. We just can't tell you what it is and what it'll be. All right, we're going to move over to training camp because that's what everybody's here for. All right, so training camp is underway. The offense is winning one day. The defense is dominating another day. Back and forth, back and forth. And what that tells me is those are valid results, right? If every day the offense was winning, I tell you, something's wrong with our defense, and this is not really an offense as performative as you think it is. If the defense is winning it every day, I'd say this defense is probably not as good as you think. Our offense is really horrible. This is a heavyweight 10-round fight every time they go out there. And I absolutely love it. Some of the highlights that I've seen out there is, of course, our guy Bill Merritt, Krosky Merritt, excuse me. He got some run with the first team today. Hello, that's not small news. The guy is a jump cut master. It's like he has a black belt in jump cuts. Insane. Love what we're hearing from that guy out there. Jalen Lane has been popping from all the different reporters that are out there. Made a phenomenal catch that made the Commanders feed there. Everybody was hyped over that. Ben Sinnott has had some really good moments out there, which is great for us because we need that tight end depth. He's had some great moments. And then I think, other guys that are popping, from what I've heard, Kane Medrano had a good day. I was kind of waiting to hear his name a little bit. Sounds like he had a really solid day recently. What other guys, Mike, have you heard that are really performing well during camp?
Name them. It's funny. You list all those players. And you ain't even say nothing about Jay and Daniels.
Well, I just expect him to be great,
Oh my goodness. I heard on Monday that man, Monday being July 28th. I don't know when you're watching the show, but on July 28th, Monday, maybe I can't remember what day account. But they said that man was dialed in, locked in. And remember, he's doing all of this without McLaurin. So Imagine if you put McLaurin in. But besides Daniel, name him. Debo, I heard his name a lot. Today he made a diving catch. Who's making diving catches in training camp and surviving Traylon Brooks? Kane Madrano had a good day today.
Trey Amos.
Yeah, Trey Amos, the star of the camp, maybe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mikey Sanders still. I'm sorry. Marshawn Lattimore, the secondary, they have been stars this training camp, and that excites me. Everybody, even the backups from Dominique Hampton. I saw Noah Igmanagi make some plays. The secondary really, really impressed me so far this training camp, and I feel like if that secondary can just be a little bit better than last year, it changes the whole dynamic of the defense. But as of now, they seem to be much better than last year, and that's bad news for the rest of the league. I'm just going to keep it a buck.
I'm gonna put it out there. I got Super Bowl vibes. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but this team has the potential. Super Bowl team vibes. We're locked in. I feel it. Like I said, I can't promise you they're gonna get there this year, but this team has the potential. There is greatness that is happening right now, and I just love every second of it. You talked about the corners, Mike. Last year was Benjamin St. Just and Emmanuel Forbes coming out of camp, right? With Sandra Strill also coming along. How much of a difference are those members in the secondary going to make over what we saw last year when the game starts? Like, as a fan, and remember, we didn't have Lattimore either coming out of camp last year.
Yeah.
Right?
And Forbes was still on the team too around this time, I think.
Yeah, yes. And we never had a healthy Lattimore at all last year. And I think the New Orleans beat reporters were saying that he was one of the best corners in the league earlier in the season last year. This secondary is going to be completely different, as you stated, Mike. How much of a difference for the overall defense are you expecting this secondary to make compared to last year?
So I think it was, I don't know if it was a reporter or a Commander's coach that said this, but if the secondary becomes better or if they become able to cover more, it changes the entire dynamic of the front seven. They'll be able to rush more freely and more disciplined, and I think it's going to generate much more pressure to the quarterback. And guess what? When you have that pressure being generated, when you have the secondary dialed in, it creates turnovers. What is Witt and Quinn known for? Generating turnovers. we might finally be like top 5 in turnovers and since what 2005 maybe, and that alone again it just makes you realize that with Peters and Quinn and the defensive coaching staff, not even just Witt, but the secondary coaches, the cornerback coach. I think Itel is still the cornerback coach. The defensive line coaches. I didn't even know that Sharif Floyd was still here. You got Sharif Floyd, Ryan Kerrigan, and Daryl Tapp coaching the D line. That's going to take advantage of this secondary. Like I'm not going to sit here and say Super Bowl vibes, but the defense looks like that they're going to be on fire. I think they finished 17th last year. If they don't at least finish in the top half, I'll cut all my hair off my face except for the eyebrows. I'll cut the beard. I'll cut the if they don't be top, if they're not top 16 next year, if they don't improve just one spot, then I don't know football. Like I just don't know football because when I'm seeing, when I'm hearing the talent, and there's still players that we haven't even mentioned yet. We haven't even mentioned Von Miller. We haven't even mentioned Deron Payne. We haven't even mentioned Johnny Newton. Like this defense.
We're gonna get to Johnny Newton. We're gonna get to Johnny Newton. But yeah.
This defense is not only talented in the secondary and the coaching staff, but it's just talented all over. And to answer your questions, finally, like what does the secondary does for the defense? It fills in the blanks from last year because I feel like you can't fully judge the defense on last year because the cornerback play was that bad. But now I think the cornerback play on this team is going to become a strength, and that's amazing.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I just it's been so long since we had good corners. What was it, like Chris Dishman? No, I'm kidding.
I'd say 05 was Springs, Rogers, and Walt Harris, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Rogers, old Stonehand, Carlos Rogers.
Don't throw it to Stonehands. Eric, we've heard a lot of great reports about the offense, the receivers making plays. Does this ease the pain of Terry not being in the building for you at all?
No. Well, he is in the building, first of all. He's just not doing it. He's got a quote unquote ankle injury that'll clear up as soon as that contract extension gets signed, I'm sure. But no, it doesn't because, I like Debo being here. I don't like Debo being here as a number one receiver. I don't know that Jalen Lane or Luke McCaffrey, who's apparently also having a very good camp, I don't know that either one of those guys is going to step up and take those reps. I like the receiving group if Terry is a part of it. So we need to get that taken care of. Now, I don't know what the deal is with Terry as far as like, is he going to play under this extent or without an extension? How he's going to handle things? I don't know at this point. Hopefully they can get that wrapped up because this receiving group is much better off with Terry McLaurin. If they don't have that true solid alpha dog number one receiver that Terry has proven himself to be, I think it could end up being a pretty long season. And Jaden Daniels is going to have to work some magic, things, McCaffrey stepping up and Ben Sinnott stepping up, wonderful things. Zach Ertz coming back. But without Terry McLaurin, I think the offense is not as strong as we would like it to be. Let's put it that way. That could end up being kind of an Achilles heel, this receiving group without Terry McLaurin there.
I'm gonna follow up on that real quick. I hate to make a food metaphor, especially with my size and all, but the receiving core without McLaurin, it's just a regular hamburger. I mean, it'll do. It's fine. The receiving core with McLaurin, cheeseburger. but y'all know that's the best way I can describe it. Like it really is. It really does make that much of a difference.
It's that Durango burger from Firehouse. If you don't know, you better get one. Yeah, I agree though. I think he takes them from cheeseburger to bacon cheeseburger or hamburger to cheeseburger, however you want to put it, for sure.
Next time I create a new intro for the podcast, I'm going to cut that clip. Cheeseburger. Eric, I'm going to come right back to you, man. So our kick returners right now, Debo and Eckler, how dangerous can they be as a pair back there returning kicks this season?
I don't know why Jalen Lane's not in that group. I don't know if he's strictly punt returner or what's
Yeah,
going on there.
he's punt returner. Yeah.
But if you get Debo with the ball in his hands and Eckler with the ball in his hands, is a good thing. I like both of those guys. So if that's our return duo, I don't particularly. I think from a return perspective, it's great, but I think you're taking, especially with Debo, and the Terry situation, like, are you taking reps? Is he going to be gassed playing offense because he's returning kicks? Or are you exposing him to injury? If you don't have Terry or Debo, then the receiving core is in dire straits. So a little concerned about that. But we'll just have to see, what it looks like. But anytime you can get the ball in either of those guys' hands, I think you're in pretty good shape. So no
Hey,
complaints there.
how many snaps in the regular season do you think Debo plays? Like, if let's say we have like 60 snaps on offense, are you guys thinking that Debo's going to be like 40 snaps a game, or you think he's going
At
to be more like
least.
55?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be in that 40 to 50 snapper. I mean, he's going to be, I would like to see him in like 75 to 80% of the offensive snaps for sure.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
I don't know. The number could be lower depending on how much Jalen Lane develops early on in the season. Because I mean, they're kind of like they have the same skills. I'll say that they're not the same player, but they have the same skills. A lot of the plays that you can use Debo in, I'm pretty sure you can put Lane in too. So if it's not the 50 plays that we expect out of 60, it's probably because Lane is eating like maybe 10 or 15 of those plays per game. So, that's a good question. I think it can go either way, but it kind of depends on Lane and how well he develops.
Yeah, I could totally see that. All right, so a couple players that I think folks have raised some concerns about. Mike, I'm gonna come to you for this. Johnny Newton has not had the best camp. Not bad, just not a standout camp. Are you getting a little bit concerned with last year's what was he, second round pick, I think, or third round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm not gonna panic yet, especially because early on I heard his name, like it kind of quieted down, definitely since the first day or two. But I think he will be just fine. Will he become Aaron Donald or Vince Wilfork, one of the greatest defensive tackles ever? Probably not. But in this defense, with this scheme, with his skills, I think he will be able to generate pressure from the inside and play the run pretty decently. So at the moment, I'm not concerned with him. Holler at me in October.
Okay. I will check back in with you on that one. I think like the other player that we are kind of still waiting to hear more from. Well, actually, there's a couple, but I'm not going to do all the negatives tonight. Eric, I know you're still waiting for more from Krosky Merritt, but the fact that he's getting first team reps, is that starting to get you a little flamed up about Merritt, or no?
Look at my caption, man. I'm the Jacory fan club president right now. So looking at those highlights, the few that I've seen of him in practice, yeah, the jump cuts are pretty impressive. It's just the small sample size of college production that has me concerned, but it seems like the offense or the offensive coaches really like him, and I'm here for it. Like, I'm not concerned at all. I know we saw him make a couple plays last week in shells or whatever, and that's not super impressive. Now, again, he made a couple plays now that they've gone to pads. He's made some plays bouncing off tackles, but again, they're not really allowed to tackle, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I mean, I've been excited to see him play since he was drafted because he's just a really intriguing prospect, and the fact that there's so little like tape on him is really exciting, especially when you pair that with his numbers, right? The 40 time and all the combine metrics and everything like that. He's a really exciting player. So I think the preseason hype train is just going to explode week one when he takes the field and he rips off like a 60-yard touchdown in the third quarter, right? And then we're going to have to chill out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him. And I think I mentioned in the group chat today that with him and Lane playing as well as they are, is that going to threaten somebody like an Austin Eckler who may end up being that running back? He's that number 3 running back right now, that passing down back. and the kick returner / punt returner. I guess if Lane's only returning punts, I guess he's safe on the kick returns. He was all pro last year. It just remains to be seen. But yeah, they're, right now I'm still on the Ja'Cory Merritt bounces between the practice squad and the active roster this year, and doesn't get a ton of run, but I am open to being wrong, and I'm willing to watch. And if he explodes at the preseason and they really like him and he's getting first team reps now, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to be mad if he turns into a superstar. I'm just not ready to crown him just yet because we haven't really seen him play in game action. So that remains to be seen. But I'm still very much on the Ja'Cory hype train for sure. I might even call him Bill one day.
Mike, we talked a lot about Michael Gallup before the off-season activity started. I have heard very little about Michael Gallup since the camp is underway. You think he's in jeopardy at all?
What's crazy? Today might have been his best day.
Yeah.
I listened to an interview with him and Chris Russell on Twitter right before the show, actually, like 20 minutes before the show. And he seems to be in good spirits, man. And Russell was saying that he caught a slant pass on one play, and then another play he went deep on a route, and he looks to have his speed. It may not be his prime speed, but his prime speed was really fast. So his speed now is like decent enough to keep the defense honest. And with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels and a running back like B-Rob and hopefully Eckler and whoever else is back there to clear up things underneath, and for the tight ends like Ertz. If he can do that, I don't think he's going to get kicked off the team. I think he can make it as a 6th receiver. And honestly, it's not really no one else that's like threatening to take the spot. Even the rookie that we drafted, I think he can make the roster.
You mean Brooks, right?
Yeah, I said Moore. I'm sorry, Brooks. Yes, Moore is another receiver, but he's not a rookie. Brooks may steal the spot from Gallup, but I think he can make the practice squad without being taken away or stolen from by another team. So, yeah, I think Gallup more often. I say the chances of making the team are better than what most may expect at the moment. But preseason is going to tell a lot.
Okay, I can dig that. So, Eric Connerly, the rookie, has had a little bit of his ups and downs in camp, but I think he's been a little bit better recently. Are you expecting him to start week 1? And are you at all concerned with maybe being a little bit up and down in camp?
He's a rookie offensive lineman going up against Von Miller. So, no, I'm cool with him being a little up and down in camp. I do expect him to start week 1. If he's not quite ready to start week 1, you've got Andrew Wiley who can do that. So I'm not super concerned about it right now. The fact that he's making a switch from left tackle to right tackle to play, it is an adjustment. These guys are superior athletes, but muscle memory is a real thing, and you're used to doing everything on the left side for a couple of years, and all of a sudden you're doing everything opposite. It takes some getting used to, so we'll just have to play it by ear. But he's a great athlete, and there's no like serious red flags of just him getting whipped play after play after play, like the stuff you saw from like who's that dude from the Giants a couple of years ago, like those tackles that they bring in and they're just like, man, this guy just can't do it. There's nothing really pointing to the fact that he can't do it. He's just going through some growth, growing pains, and he's making a move to the right side. So no, I'm not concerned at all at this point. We'll watch him through the preseason and see what happens, but I think he's starting right tackle week 1 as well.
Were you talking about Eric Flowers, by the way?
Yeah, Flowers. And the other guy, Andrew Thomas, too, was another one. He got better, but yeah, he was a really, really bad his rookie year.
Yeah, I was thinking of Thomas.
Yeah.
And that's funny you were thinking of Flowers, and it's both.
Yeah, Flowers was definitely right. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so a lot of really great work. I was just thinking about how phenomenal of a coaching staff we have. I'm like, the running backs are doing great. I'm like, of course they are, because we have Anthony Lynn, the former head coach, as our freaking running backs coach. Man, we are so spoiled with this coaching staff.
And we didn't lose any from last year. That's the best part.
Yes.
Like, everybody came back, which never happens.
Never happens. We are in such a good position. And I'm going to tell you what, Commanders fans that are listening, Redskins fans, Washington football team, fans, you've earned it and you deserve this right now. You deserve a good football team, and you're getting one. And we're having well orchestrated, organized camps. Nobody's getting like purple durples from to the coach, and we're not none of that stuff. We are focused on the mission, and that mission is preparing to win a Super Bowl. And I absolutely love it. All right, Eric, for final thoughts, I have two for you. My first question is, how big was the delta between Jerry Rice and Art Monk, in your opinion?
Oh, it was pretty big. I don't think he was. I mean, Jerry Rice is like one of the top 3 players in NFL history, and Art Monk is one of the top probably 15 wide receivers in NFL history, maybe. So, that's nothing. That's not a slight against Art Monk. It's just Jerry Rice was like It's like comparing a hamburger to a bacon cheeseburger. You just and to put it in a way that Mike might understand better. It's it's very difficult to compare those two because Jerry Rice was just on an entirely different level than anybody else who's ever played that position and really been in this league. I mean, there's like 5 guys that you can put in the conversation with Jerry Rice as like the greatest of all time in the NFL. You're talking about like Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, maybe like those guys. So it's no slight to Art Monk to say that he wasn't as good as Jerry Rice. So yeah, sorry, Redskins fans, you can come after me in the comments if you want, but I mean, it is what it is.
Unretire his number now. No. So for all the folks out there, Eric, this is still for you, that are saying Terry never really was that good because we're in contract disputes, contracts, conversations, whatever. What do you say to those folks that are diminishing the legacy of Terry McLaurin right now?
They can shut right the hell up. That's what I can say. Look, it's contract negotiations are a thing and things aren't going well. And it's just one of those coping mechanisms where it's like, well, we didn't really like him anyway. Yes, you did. He wasn't really that good anyway. Yes, he is. He's very good. It's a contract negotiation. It's very tricky because of the amount of money that he wants and his age. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. The length of the contract. Terry McLaurin is an excellent football player. If he is not here after next year, I will be extremely sad. It will be a huge loss. It will be tough to recover from. And if you're trying to tell me that he's not that good just because he's not under contract, I'm not trying to hear that. It's loser talk, and we don't want to hear that. If he doesn't end up here next year, I wish him the best wherever he goes. But I will sincerely miss Terry McLaurin if he doesn't come back to this team.
Amen. Mike, I just want to hear you wax poetic about the secondary one more time because I know you're excited about it. So for your final thoughts, talk to us about the secondary a little bit more, man.
So I'll say this. I'm going to focus on Trey Amos because he's the wild card in all this. Don't get me wrong. Lattimore is going to be the power horse. He's going to be the charge. He's going to lead the charge. But I really feel like we got something in this Amos dude, man. He like the draft tape. I mean the draft the draft news or whatever. His college tape. It's all lining up with what I'm seeing this week, man. And of course, I haven't been in person. I'm just going off of what I've seen on tapes and things like that. But Sticky. He's not getting yanked. Every video that I've seen, he's been there. And I just feel like I'm going to throw a name out there that is very controversial for us right now. But A.J. Brown, man, like, I want to see Amos versus him. And it sucks that we're going to have to wait the whole season to get to it. But at the same time, I'm like, that might be better for us because by then he'll be damn near a veteran. I played the whole NFL season. And that's the measuring stick. How can you check AJ Brown? Because it's not like he's going to route you up or anything. He's just a very physical, imposing player that just has his way with cornerbacks. And I trust Lattimore to be able to contain him a bit. He kind of did it in the second matchup versus Philly last year. But Amos, what can you do? Can you match Lattimore? I personally think you can exceed Lattimore, bro. And I can't wait to see it, man. But as far as the rest of the secondary, I ain't even talk about Mikey. And everybody's saying that he's the best player at camp so far. Shout out to the Wolverines for real. But yeah, the secondary as a whole, I'm ecstatic in. But Trey Amos, that young gentleman, I'm definitely intrigued on how his rookie season will go. And it's going to start pretty early as far as getting tested with week 1 versus Malik Neighbors. I want to see that matchup too, man. And he's going to get blessed by fire this year because we face a lot of receivers. But of course, like I said, that measuring stick is going to come in December when we're playing Philly. How do you do versus AJ Brown? I don't know. It's like for people that watch anime, it's like a prequel to an anime battle, a great anime battle. Can our hero take out the villain? I don't know, but it's going to be fun getting to that point. And I think that when that point happens, he will survive. He will swim. He won't sink. And that's all I got this week.
I like it. Let's not forget about Tyler Owen, who's having a great camp. Quan Martin, who's supposedly having a great camp. Now, I want to be measured.
Time out. So, hold on.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. All pro Quan Martin. I'm saying that here first. You heard it first. He's making an all pro team this year. He's already been all pro as played as well as an all pro in my opinion. But with the added talent at cornerback, I'm sorry I'm just mentioning this. It's going to make him better. Not only the defensive line, but the safety play will be extremely better because of the cornerbacks. And now I'm done for the week. I'm sorry.
No, I love the excitement and the passion about it. Every team has positive reports coming out of camp. I believe this. I believe it's about this group. And that's kind of what my final thought is like, I was not high on the Dan Quinn hire initially. I thought it was kind of a boring hire. He has proved me completely and entirely wrong with every step and every move that they make, along with Adam Peters. Um, they have just created a culture where we expect winning, and it happened within 600 days. I mean, that's insane that we now expect to go far. So kudos to the organization, Josh Harris, and everybody who works for him, because they have really transformed this organization overnight. It starts with getting the quarterback. We did that. Our quarterback is special. Our quarterback is elite, and it's only going to get better from here. Training camp is just a part of it. It's just the beginning. So expect big things this year. Be excited. And more importantly, make sure you're locked into this podcast. Share with your friends. Let them know about it, because we're going big this season during the regular season. So get in while you can still get in. Hit the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts, how you feel about us. Let us know if you like the cheeseburger comps or maybe even the bacon cheeseburger comps and
Durango burger.
Durango
Try it.
burger. That's right. And
Delicious.
we love it. All right, folks, we are out of here with the Commanders Declassified podcast. We appreciate your time, as they like to say. We know you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us right now. We appreciate you. We are out of here.